One of the sort of noteworthy characteristics of English-Canadian literature is that it doesn't have many long novels, many mega novels, or rather I should just say a long novel. I define a novel as being in the range of 200,000 words or more. It could be a few less, but sort of in that range. Something over 150,000 words, which tends to be sort of the cap, the unspoken limit of a social novel in Canada, or a novel of any length, apart from some historical novels, genre work. When it comes to work about contemporary life, there are a lot of good novels that get published, but they tend to be short or medium length. And when it comes to longer works that have any sort of contemporary subject matter, it's pretty small pickings in the CanLit canon. Here's one title that does fall into that category to some degree. It's Solomon Gursky Was Here by Mordecai Richler, and it's a bit of a hybrid novel. It has quite a bit of stuff set in contemporary Canada, but it also has long passages that are set way back when, because the novel is the story of the Gursky clan, a group of Jewish immigrants who sort of build up their way from nothing to a massive alcohol empire. And then, in terms of the Anglophone canon, another work that gets a lot of attention as sort of a major novel about contemporary life is A Fine Balance. It's not quite about contemporary life. It's about the emergency that Indira Gandhi's government declared in India a few decades ago, but it's got a very contemporary feel to it. And it, of course, has received very, very strong international praise. The shortcoming of the work, I suppose you could say, is, or the shortcomings are twofold. The first is that Mistry is not a particularly gripping stylist. He's a good writer, he's a serious writer, and this is a moving book. It's an important book, but stylistically it's not a great book. It's not a brilliant book in terms of the writing. It has a rather sort of dry style. And the other noteworthy aspect of it, which isn't really germane in terms of its place in terms of world literature, but is germane in terms of where CanLit is and where CanLit might be, is it's not a Canadian novel in the way one might normally understand the term. It's set entirely in India. There are no Canadians in it, and it could have just as well been published in India. It's Mistry as a Canadian citizen, and so he does qualify as a Canadian writer, but this is not, strictly speaking, a Canadian book, or certainly not a book about Canada. Now, a third title that tends to be overlooked, but which I think is very good, is this one, The Way the Crow Flies by Anne-Marie MacDonald. MacDonald is much more celebrated for writing another book entitled Fall on Your Knees, but this one I think is particularly good. It's sort of a period piece. I'm in the process of reading it right now. And it's set during the early 1960s, during the Cold War. But again, it has a very contemporary feel to it. In terms of work that is major, but doesn't quite fall into the mega novel category, and certainly isn't a social novel, these other works that I just held up, Solomon and Gursky, The Way the Crow Flies, and A Fine Balance, are all told from the point of view of many characters. Whereas this novel is quite lengthy and quite serious, The Origin of Species by Nino Ricci, but it's told from the point of view of a single protagonist. And again, it's a period piece set during the 1980s, a very bad period for Central America when effectively a series of human rights abuses and war crimes took place, and which the American government helped instigate, and the Canadian government turned a blind eye to. It's a long book. It's around 500 pages, but as you can see, it's quite densely. The point size and so forth, and the amount of text per page is quite dense. I don't know the word count of it. Of course, the word count is what's really essential with these books. But that is definitely a major work. And another one of interest is this one here. It's by Stephen Hennigan. It's called The Streets of Winter. It is not a terribly long book. It's approximately 300 pages, but in an afterword to the novel, Hennigan mentions that the manuscript was originally twice this length, and one is curious about what the book would have been like if it had been published in its longer incarnation. And there's one more, a Quebec novel. Just hold on a second. Where did I put it? It's in the kitchen here. Yeah, okay, here it is. It's under my, okay, here's my Le Robert Micro, my handy French dictionary. And this particular novel is by Louis Hamelin. It's called La Constellation de Lynx. And I bought it partly out of a desire to practice my French, and also because it's about the October Crisis, period of Canadian history that interests me. So again, another period piece, but one with a very contemporary feel. And it clocks in at close to 600 pages. And and it's told from many, many different points of view. So again, it's a major work. Now, in terms of novels that are specifically about contemporary Canada, you won't find any. I mean, I certainly haven't found any that crack that boundary of, say, 180,000 words, which is the length of Jonathan Franzen's The Corrections. In other words, there is no Canadian equivalent directly of The Corrections, although there are some great Canadian novels out there about contemporary life.